Joe Brewer swings his mighty blade through the forest where the shadows fade. Orcs don't belong, they shouldn't stay. This ain't their land, not today. But when the moon shines on the creek, he's not so tough, not so bleak. Joe Brewer, cheers to you, my friend. Slaying orcs, but the party won't end. Raise your glass, feel the vibe tonight. Walks so wrong, but the fun feels right. He's got a laugh like a rolling drum, a barbarian who's not so glum. Smashing skulls, but he's got a flair for cracking jokes while tossing his hair. And when the ale flows like a stream, life's a battle, but it's also a dream. Joe Brewer, cheers to you, my friend. Slaying orcs, but the party won't end. Raise your glass, feel the vibe tonight. What's so wrong, but the fun feels right. On the creek, he's not so tough, not so bleak. But when the moon shines on the creek, he's not so tough, not so bleak. Joe Brewer, cheers to you, my friend. Slaying orcs, but the party won't end. Raise your glass, feel the vibe tonight. Walk so wrong, but the fun feels right. Got a laugh like a rolling drum, a barbarian who's not so glum. Smashing skulls, but he's got a flair for cracking jokes while tossing his hair. And when the ale flows like a stream, life's a battle, but it's also a dream.
know what, K2? I need to make a command for you, man. Fucking ginger wave. Let's do that. I think I can. Nah, I'll probably have to go on the fucking thing to do that. Good to see you, Rubber Ducky. How you doing? What's up? I'm gonna do it right now. No, I don't want that. Go ahead. Oh, that's the search. I don't know. What? No. I said copy this. Copy. There you go. No, we don't care about that one. I don't want that one either. That's it. Alright, let's try it. Maybe 3 is too many. One's enough. Okay. Okay. Hold on. You're still in the fucking intro part.
Fangs break, blood sprays, dankers laughs, the dead obey. Shadows fall, they cannot flee. His wrath consumes eternity.
Okay, so I love you, K2, and I love you guys that are showing up over on YouTube. You guys are good people. I love you guys so much. So thank you. I don't know what's going on tonight, but I'm gonna try to do this. So here I am. So what is it? There's like, okay, so there's just so much shit. Right. Let's do this one. Okay, like I'm trying to revise these songs. So the one that I opened with was the wrong one for Joe Wooer. So this is the right one, I think. Nope, that's the wrong one. This one.
They call me Joe Wooer, the barbarian king, swinging my axe like a pendulum sting. Orcs in the shadows, they scatter and flee, but I'll carve my name in their destiny. Steel in my hands, blood in the dirt. The screams are my anthem, the pain my concerts. My great axe will be a bane, split the night and cleave the chain. By day I slay, by night test my blade or you'll meet your demise. My great axe will be your fate. Split the night and cleave the shade. By day I slay, by night I reign. Envy or threat, feel the pain.
We're gonna make a fucking D&D chat that's like just all fucking dice rolls and shit. It's gonna be cool shit. I'm sure that's possible. I'm not making promises, but it's possible. We could do it.
I roll the dice on the tavern floor. Ale in my veins, but I'm craving more. Deception and charm are my favorite tools. One game like a king while I bend the rules. By the firelight, I'm a rogue in disguise. But don't test my blade or you'll meet your demise. My great axe will be your fate. Split the night and cleave the chain. By day I slay, by night I reign. Envy or threat, feel the pain. Feel the pain.
Once more.
In the valley where shadows fall, an icy breath consumes it all. Monsters rise, the weak must call. We fight the blight, we hold the line, with hearts of fire, a strength divine. Oh, Fandolin, you will not fall. We'll rise above, we'll stand so tall. The dragon roars, its fury cold. The mountain shakes, its grip takes hold. But faith is stronger than its gold. Oh, hear us sing, our voice is true. We'll push the dark, we'll make it through. We fight the blight, we hold the line, with hearts of fire, a strength divine. Oh, Fandolin, you will not fall. We'll rise above, we'll stand so tall. The tread so tall. The dragon roars, its fury cold. The mountain shakes, its grip takes hold. But faith is stronger than its gold. Oh, hear us sing, our voice is true. We'll push the dark, we'll make it through. We'll make it through. We fight the blight, we hold the line, with hearts of fire, a strength divine. Oh, Fandolin, you will not fall. We'll rise above, we'll stand so tall. The tread so tall. The ice may freeze, but hearts ignite. With every prayer, we light the night. The people stand, their spirits fight. Oh, 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 oh. We'll rise above.
All right, what the fuck is up? How y'all doing? It's Sunday. And, you know, honestly, it's kind of a sad day. TPUSA had a memorial service for Charlie Kirk today, and I thought that went really good, actually. And I don't know, I was inspired, I guess, to some extent. I guess that's why I'm here. So, you know what? We are all Charlie Kirk. I'm Charlie Kirk. You're Charlie Kirk. We're all Charlie Kirk. So here we are. And I'm willing to open the discussion panel tonight in order to try to maintain the torch. I'm trying to carry the torch. I want to carry the torch and continue it forward. So, the first thing I want you to know is that as an American, I love you if you're an American. I do, like, to some extent, like a little bit. Like, not a whole lot, but just enough, you know, that I don't necessarily want you to die. But it's important that we understand that there are lines that we cannot cross, right? And obviously that has been crossed. But we have to understand that discourse cannot die. That's the other side of it, right? Like, it's a double-edged sword. Without discourse, there is no country. That's ultimately it. You put two and two together, and discourse created the country. Discourse maintains the country, and so discourse must continue. Otherwise, there isn't a country. That's it. You wouldn't shut down people simply because they believe what they believe. Suddenly everything just falls apart. So, what's that? Now here's something that lefties don't necessarily understand, right? Is that when you go into somebody's panel or into somebody's chat room, it's not necessarily the public square, right? It's actually somebody's private institution. So they like to leverage this against you. They like to say, "Oh no, you're not letting me speak because you're free speech, so that makes you a hypocrite because you're not letting me speak. So that's garbage." Yeah, well, you're fine to speak if you're just disagreeing. That's fine. But if you're in here just spouting bullshit and then trying to kowtow the chat and trying to overtake, you know, the conversation, then that's a whole different discussion, man. It really is. But you know, one of the things that I've really been meaning to do, and I guess we're gonna do that tonight, is that I want to look at some of the ways that Charlie's interacted with people in the past, and some of the conversations that he's had, and what those things mean. So let's take a look. Okay. First of all, you know, there's this very contentious argument that's been had in the halls of Congress, okay, between the leader of you know, the whatever pack, the Progressive Pack, the Communist Pack, the Democrat Socialist of America Pack. I'm not sure what it is, but whatever pack AOC leads, they went up against a cardboard cutout of Charlie Kirk and just fucking lost, like, right out of the gate. I mean, it was no contest. I mean, like, he didn't even have to say anything. It was like over, done. Was no contest. That's fucking hilarious. I don't know. Okay, hold on. Let's do this. Oh my god, it's AOC as the stupid straw man. And she's literally the straw man. That's what it is. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh, and this is This is really good, actually. We're just gonna full screen that.
No offense, but it sounds like some fucking commie gobbledygook.
Yes.
No offense, but it sounds like some fucking commie gobbledygook.
Yes.
No offense, but
Yeah, that's it. That's you know what? That's pretty good. That about does it. That about does it. Okay. For goodness sakes, y'all. I'm just fucking having fun at this point. I don't know. It's good to see you, Octavius. The open panel? Yeah, man. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. There. It doesn't have any balls to like. Oh, it's like. All right. Anyway, yes, I'm in the Discord panel now. Oh. I'd rather go over some of this stuff first. Okay. Give me a chance to do this. I think it's important to recognize who Charlie Kirk was and what it was that he was about. Okay? So, I would like to take a moment to do that. That's all I'm gonna do. Okay, great. So, one of the things he liked to do was to approach people who he vehemently disagreed with and tell them what it is that they thought that was wrong and why they were wrong. And how they could do better, right? Okay, so he spent a lot of time on college campuses talking to people about a lot of silly stuff, a lot of times, okay? As we look through this vehement library of these encounters, there's only a couple that really stick out to me that I want to talk about. One of those is this one right here.
Trust Donald Trump.
Oh, let's just head back to the beginning of this, and we'll figure it out whenever YouTube decides to stop being a bitch. He preached the truth of God and the truth of man, which is that there's only one woman and one man, and nothing more. That's all there is. And anything beyond that is actually a sin, so you should try to not do that. Another thing he preached was, another thing he said was that people's children are their own, and that you don't have the right as an educator to sort of impose your beliefs upon them simply because you disagree with their parents, right? Like, that's an important principle to maintain, I think. Another thing he preached or said was that men and women should be independent of the government, and they should have a way to accomplish themselves without the government being involved in that. And I think that was admirable as well. So, okay.
We're honored to be partnering with the Alan Jackson Ministries.
Okay. Yeah.
And today I want to point you to their podcast. It's called Culture and Christianity, the Alan Jackson Podcast. What makes it unique is Pastor Alan's biblical perspective. He takes the truth from the Bible and applies it to issues that we're facing today. Gender confusion, abortion, immigration, Doge, Trump, and the White House. Issues in the church. He doesn't just discuss the problems. In every episode, he gives practical things we can do to make a difference. His guests have incredible expertise and powerful testimonies. Each episode will make you recognize the power of your faith and how God can use your life to impact our world today. The Culture and Christianity podcast is informative and encouraging. You could find it on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. Alan Jackson Ministries is working hard to bring biblical truth back into our culture. You can find the Culture and Christianity podcast, sermons, and other thought-provoking teachings on our Pastor Alan's YouTube channel at Alan Jackson Ministries.
Okay, so Infamous Luigi says, your title gives bigot, EOD. What do you mean, Infamous Luigi? What can I do to correct that? What would you like for me to do to correct that? I'm interested in hearing. But we'll get to that. Okay, because part of what I want to get to is the idea that somehow language is malleable and transformative in the ways that people who want to wield rhetoric would like for it to be. I think that's dangerous. And I think we need to be cautious about approaching that. Yeah? Is that fair? So, help me out. Okay.
It's a big crowd for California. All right, you guys know how it works. We're going to do questions for a couple hours here. If I really like your answer, you get a hat. We'll be signing hats as well. And God bless you guys. We're going to have a great time. Thank you. Okay, hello, yes.
Hello, my name is Yardo. I have a small YouTube channel. I'm a political commentator as well, much smaller than you are. I just wanted to thank everybody at Turning Point USA, USD for having this debate. And also, I would thank the Turning Point.
Okay, so right out of the gate, you see that the guy is actually thankful for the organization that Charlie has built, for the opportunity to talk to Charlie in the first place. Like, that's a big difference between what we're seeing from the radicals today, right? Okay, cheers to that.
Point USA, San Diego State, because they gave a voice to one of my dear friends who was a victim at the October 7th Nova Music Festival, and his name is Amit Muzai. I really appreciate that you guys did that, and you have my sincere gratitude. I'd also like to quickly state that this is a message for the far left first, and then we'll get into what I highly disagree with you about. But I just read Hassan Piker's New York Times.
Okay. I just read Hassan Piker's New York Times fucking article. Okay, you're already getting off on a bad foot for me, mother. But let's see what you got to say.
Times article where he claims that he did not stifle free speech in his chat. I do not believe that's true because I was banned multiple times for having a simple disagreement with him. That is one thing.
Banned for having a simple disagreement with him. Yeah, well, you know, that happens. That happens when you go in a leftist chat. Every single time. Every single time you go in a leftist chat, you say something like, say something like Christ is king, or something like there are only two gingers, and or you know, even like one time I went into I'm really important fucking stream, and I said, here's some evidence of voter fraud from the Washington Sentinel, and I said, oh, you're referencing the Washington Sentinel? Then fuck you, get the fuck out, right? So intolerance is very typical of the left, for sure.
On the right, you guys do far better, is not creating echo chambers, and this is a complete amazing thing that you guys are doing right now. And I just want to let you know, right now, Hassan Piker, I will donate $5,000 to Palestine if you debate me. Now, and I 100% mean that, and I will make sure that that is as public as possible.
That's awesome.
My question for you, Charlie, is I just want to make it clear, I am against affirmative action.
It's fucking abysmal.
Of course, I do not believe, as a disabled person myself, I do not believe that affirmative action is the entirety of what DEI entails. That being said, I would be fine with DEI gotten rid of if it meant the like a true meritocracy in the United States. But why would I trust Donald Trump to create a meritocracy when he himself has appointed the least accomplished and the least, essentially, yeah, perfect word, the least accomplished cabinet in U.S. history, at least.
Like for me, like there's nothing least accomplished about Donald Trump. That's completely retarded. If anything, Donald Trump is probably one of the most accomplished Republican presidents. This is the type of fallacy that they want to start from. Is to say that, oh my God, everything you guys believe in is complete fucking trash, and you need to understand that it's trash. You need to believe that it's trash in order for you to understand that our side is correct. So that's a point of perspective right there. I think Charlie's taking it to heart.
In my opinion, if you disagree, I can explain why I feel that way.
Well, first of all, one thing doesn't have to do with the other, but I'm going to reject the premise that it's the least qualified cabinet ever, so we could talk about that. But even if it was just Donald Trump picking his family members, it has nothing to do with the merits of DEI or getting rid of DEI, right? So that's a red herring. They actually have nothing one to do with the other. One's a repeal of a policy. One is your critique of a cabinet. So which one would you rather debate? Would you rather debate DEI and all of its implications or Trump's cabinet? It seems like you have more problems with Trump's cabinet because we actually might be on the same side of meritocracy. So want to talk about the cabinet? Whichever you prefer.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
All right.
I personally don't see it as a red herring, but we can talk about that.
Well,
sure.
yeah, one doesn't have anything to do with the other, right? I mean, you can personally have hypocrisy in your own life and still do really good things in policy, right? It doesn't necessarily equate, right?
Well, I mean, in the way that I see it is that when a lot of people talk about, like when they're talking about their choice to vote for Kamala or Trump instead of Kamala, they talk about the personal aspects of Donald Trump that make them want to trust him, right? A lot of people trust him. You can see the way that people look. I mean, everybody's wearing the MAGA hats. People trust him. Why would I trust him?
Okay. So yeah, that is your contention. So
yeah.
What about his cabinet is unqualified? Let me just ask you a couple examples. So, I mean, Scott Bessent, who's one of the most accomplished bond salesmen and individuals in the hedge fund space ever, right? That's not unqualified. Pete Hegseth, who's actually a frontline warfighter, unlike Lloyd Austin, who never fought a war in his life, right? We have Kristi Noem, who was an accomplished congresswoman and governor from a major state running Department of Homeland Security. You have Howard Lutnick, who's a very famous and well-known financial mind and titan from Wall Street running Cantor Fitzgerald. Marco Rubio, who was a very well-respected U.S. Senator on Foreign Affairs, who's...
To be fair, I'm not a fan of Marco Rubio, okay? I'll be honest with that. I'm not a fan. But, he's been called to the cause and is trying to do his best. So I'll give him credit for that.
He's now doing a great job as Secretary of State. So build out your argument why you think this cabinet is unqualified. Seems to me very, very qualified, actually, across the board.
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to start with, I mean, this is the most obvious one, and I have many other examples that I'd like to get into, but Pete Hegseth, you mentioned, I think that is kind of, I don't really understand why you would mention somebody that leaked war chats to a liberal journalist. To me, that doesn't seem like the kind of person that I would want to be.
Well, hold on, time out. He did not leak it, first of all.
He added the person
The person
to the
who
chat.
actually is responsible was just removed as National Security Advisor.
And again, like right off the bat, you see the lefty is trying to coach the argument by leading the goalpost and then moving it beyond whatever it is that he's being challenged upon. Like, oh no, whatever you're talking to me about doesn't matter. What we need to talk about is this instead. Yeah, precisely. Okay.
Oh, you mean the person who was the fall guy for Pete Hegseth's problem?
No, he added somebody without his knowledge, but fine.
Okay, so why wouldn't he see him? Why wouldn't he see the person who's in the chat before talking about war policy?
So, time out. Just so we're clear, I'm sure you've been added to group chats with 30 or 40 people sometimes, and you enter in with trust that every acronym is actually a government official. Obviously, that will not happen again. Just so we're clear, Signal was an approved chat by the Biden administration. It's an approved secure channel by
I'm not talking shit on Signal.
However, time out. Let me ask a question about Pete Hegseth. Would you rather have a warfighter or a bureaucrat run the United States military?
I would rather have somebody that doesn't have a history of alcoholism. I'd rather have somebody that, I mean, realistically.
Wow. So do you think Lloyd...
Well, that counts me out, doesn't it? here's the reality: is that people's personal lives don't fucking matter. What happens in their professional lives is what is meritocratic, right? Meritocratic. Let me repeat that. Meritocratic. What is it to be meritocratic? It means that when you're called to duty and you're expected to do, you do it. So that's meritocratic. So when Pete Hegseth was called to duty, he did his duty and he followed the guidelines that were set before him. Okay, we're talking about a captain in the United States Army who has received a Purple Heart. Meritocracy, meritocracy, right? Oh man, that's quite a fucking tongue twister. But at the end of the day, he did what he was supposed to do, and called into this new position which he's not familiar with. He adhered to the standards which were set before him, right? This is what people did before him. This is what he thought was okay. So why not?
How about Mark Milley and Lloyd Austin? Were they better at running the U.S. military than Pete Hegseth?
I mean, I think you're going to probably start talking about how there's higher enlistment numbers.
Yeah,
under
not only
Pete
that.
Hegseth.
So recruitment in the military is up majorly. Thank you, Pete Hegseth. He's doing a pretty good job. Number two, procurement. We're saving money. Estimates are that we'll save hundreds of billions of dollars in efficiency. War games are up. The amount of war games we're doing in the Southeast Pacific has increased by 30%. This is a military town here in San Diego. They have a massive increase in people wanting to join the Navy, wanting to join the military. That wasn't happening under Biden. The morale is actually 30 points higher now that Pete Hegseth, a warfighter's warfighter, is running the U.S. military.
We have a complete difference. We're never going to agree on this.
No, but not agree, but show me, then prove the evidence. What is one number that is worse with the U.S. military now that Pete Hegseth's in control?
The numbers that you're talking about are numbers that I actually actively do not care about, because I think that we have an overly powerful military, and I think too much of our money goes to the military.
No, I know, but tell me one thing he's done, numerically, empirically, judge his performance, right? What is one thing that you could say, wow, the Pentagon is in a worst place because of Pete Hegseth?
I would say his inconsistent foreign policy, where he backs on statements depending on whether or not Donald Trump has heard them or not, like in the beginning. We're talking about what?
I'm sorry. When did Pete Hegseth ever establish foreign policy? Not once. Not ever. When does the Secretary of Defense establish foreign policy? Not once. Not ever. That's not the role of the Secretary of Defense. It is the role of the United States President in order to establish foreign policy. So that's a complete farce right there. So I think he's talking about Iran. It doesn't matter what he's talking about. What matters is the fact that the Secretary of Defense does not establish foreign policy. So he's trying to claim that SecDef, that Pete Hegseth established foreign policy. He doesn't. That's not what he does. All he does is execute the foreign policy of the president. The president is who establishes foreign policy. So that's all there is to that.
What happened with Ukraine and Russia? Like, they've had disagreements already within the first couple months of the administration.
Yeah, Ukraine and Russia are gonna have disagreements. They've had disagreements for hundreds of years, and this shit has been going on since 2014. Okay, so let's take a look at when this was actually aired. It's less than a year ago. Less than a year ago, I'm pretty sure. Okay, God rest Charlie Kirk. It's obviously before his death. So, yeah, that's completely inapplicable.
What? But first of all, the president is the commander-in-chief, so he executes the running of the military.
I'm just saying that he's
the operationals manager,
I
right?
understand that.
And so when you want a military, you have recruitment going up, you have war games going up, you have morale going up. You have, by the way, how about this? Do you agree that physical fitness standards for men and women should be the same in the U.S. military?
Yes.
Pete Hegseth is to thank for that. He has brought physical fitness standards to be the same for men and women.
Okay, this was a huge misstep for him because one of the things feminists in the military pushed for was different standards for women and men, because obviously physical differences will cause some gaps there. So it was, according to the feminists, more difficult for the women to achieve those standards. And, I've heard from the other side of the fence that in a rucksack situation, from my army buddies who have been deployed, saying that, women are not so great when they're actually in the rough and expected to, fend for their lives. So not so great. That's a huge shoehorn that this guy just opened up for him.
Lloyd Austin didn't do that. Mark Milley didn't do that. Do you also agree that we should not have like transgender pronoun type policing of our military members on the front lines of combat?
See, the thing is
Pete
that
Hegseth has gotten rid of all that, but I'm saying you're trying
it's
to make a contention that he's not qualified.
Okay.
The military is in a much better place thanks to him only after 100 days, man. And that's that is the weakest example of all the ones that you have in the cabinet.
100 days. This is after 100 days in office. Wow. Already, they're trying to come down on Trump's DOD and say that the DOD is not doing what the DOD is supposed to do. The DOD is always going to do what it's supposed to do. The DOD never does what it's not supposed to do. So, yeah, I don't know what you want. It's bombs on target. It's enemies eliminated. That's what the DOD does. So, if Pete Hegseth can make that more efficient and more effective, that's a boon. That's a good thing for the United States. I don't care if you're a commie or whatever. It doesn't matter. So
you didn't address Rubio, you didn't address Noem, you didn't address Bessent, you didn't address Lutnick, you didn't address Bobby Kennedy, you didn't address all these people. So I have to ask you a question.
I can continue addressing people.
But every one of these departments is in a substantially and an empirically better place than it was.
Okay,
even after
including
100
the
days.
Department of Education that's been completely defunded, and somebody who literally
I'm so glad it's being defunded.
Okay, I bet you are, but guess what?
I am so glad it's being defunded as well.
Wrong. Donald Trump.
Okay, yeah, just because you have a bunch of people here saying that
No,
doesn't
hold
mean
on.
that's the
Let
reality.
me prove it to you. Donald Trump ran on a pledge to get rid of the Department of Education. We can agree with that?
No,
yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. He won a popular vote. The vast majority of people voted knowing that the Department of Education was going to get eliminated.
If you truly believe that the vast majority of people were educated enough about the fact of Donald Trump's opinion
voters
on the
aren't very.
If you truly believe that those poor people understood what they were voting for, then you are naive. That's the argument. They didn't know what they were voting for. I can't believe these people. The gall. They know better than you. They know better than you, and they know better than your kids, and they know better than you for your kids. That's the fucking mindset. Holier than thou doesn't even begin to fucking describe it. It's disgusting.
Very smart. Now that's what we're going after.
No, I'm simply just responding to what you said. What you said
Insult
is
the voters. They don't know.
No, I know a lot of people that voted for Trump who had absolutely no idea that he was going to defund the. And of course, this is just an anecdote, but I know that this is the truth. Not everybody, when they vote, looks at every single little thing and every little aspect, like you and I might, of why we would vote for somebody. Like we're both political commentators.
Right. Fine. And as a political commentator, then I will argue more forcefully against you, because now you're not just like a college kid searching for this. Has Education America...
Let me remind you this. Okay? One of the criticisms of Charlie Kirk has been that, he just goes to college campuses to shit on fucking college kids, and college kids don't know what the fuck they're talking about, right? College kids have no fucking idea what they're doing. Oh no, they're just innocent little children. They're just naive little malleable mushes of brain that we can mold into whatever policy framework that we want them to adopt, right? That's the fucking commentary from the left. And yet, here we sit with a internet commentator who considers himself worthy enough to call out Hassan, and yet he's talking to Charlie Kirk. Talking to him, with words and rhetoric and ideas, right? Like, this is how we work things out. Okay.
Fully against you, because now you're not just like a college kid searching for this. Has education in America improved or gotten worse since the Department of Education was formed?
It has literally been 3 months. I have absolutely no idea.
Since the Department of Education was formed in the 70s. We now have 50 years of evidence. Has American education gotten better since we've had a Department of Education, or has it gotten worse?
I personally don't think that has to do with the Department of Education.
Well, when you've spent over $4.5 trillion with one federal department, and we have 30 schools in Chicago where a fifth grader cannot read at grade level. We have 35 schools in Baltimore where kids cannot do math or reading at grade level. We cannot find a single school, not a single school in downtown Detroit, where by the time they graduate high school in the heavily black areas, that they're proficient in reading or math. We are now like 31st in the industrialized world of education. We spend more in education than almost any other country per capita, and yet our results are worse. Maybe it's because we sent all this money to DC to overly centralize the way we educate, and the Department of Education has been a complete disaster. And so we can go anywhere you want with this discussion.
I'm just going to say one more thing about this and we can move on.
Fine.
And thank you for talking to me for this long. I really appreciate it. But you're talking about like people that are coming from poor backgrounds where education in their families is not a part of the way that they're raised. Of course, they're going to be the ones that have a lower...
No, that's not correct. You
I
see,
highly doubt it.
The competing Catholic schools in the same area that do it for 2/3 less money, almost all the kids can read by the time they graduate middle school.
And where does that money come from?
Well, sometimes from charter schools, taxpayers.
Where does that money come from is the only contention. Let's go back. Let's hear Charlie's argument again once more.
Is not a part of the way that they're raised. Of course, they're going to be the ones that have a lower...
No, that's not correct. You see,
I highly doubt it.
The competing Catholic schools in the same area that do it for 2/3 less money.
So Catholic schools, private schools is what they are. They're private schools in terms of legal terms, okay? Do it for 2/3 less money. Okay.
Almost all the kids can read by the time they graduate middle school.
Almost all the kids can. That's not exactly a brag. However, it is a boast on top of the public school system, right? Like in most public school systems, you're gonna find that kids are not performing at grade level. It doesn't matter what grade you look at, all the way up to 9th grade. They're not performing at grade level. They're really not. And somehow at 9th grade, they just magically start performing at grade level. And it's like, that's totally fucking retarded to me. But that's another story. I think that has more to do with the reporting and statistics and the way that we look at things. But okay.
Where does that money come from?
Well, sometimes from charter schools, taxpayers, or from private donors. So take, for example, in downtown Chicago or downtown Philadelphia, the private Catholic school can educate a kid for around $12,000 a year. Philadelphia, it's about $30,000 a year, and none of the kids can read. So the local religion...
That's ridiculous. That's fucking ridiculous. Okay, so let's just fact check that real quick, okay? So how much to educate a kid in Philadelphia? Public school, right? Educating a child in Philadelphia public schools is free. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Insofar as the government pays for it, because public education is supported by government funding. Yeah, right. While there's no direct cost to parents, actual expenditure per student was $21,985 in 2024 to 2025. Okay, so Charlie's being a little bit bombastic. He said it was 30,000, but you know what? It's not really too far outside of the metric of reality. It's just really well within reality. And then when you compare that to what it costs to put a kid through Catholic school, it's retardedly more expensive. It is stupidly more expensive. So that is the point that Charlie's trying to make. The specific numbers are less important than the disparity between what it costs and what the outcome is, right? Like, that's really what he's trying to get at. Okay, great.
Religious schools, they have kids that are less likely to be unruly, less likely to commit crimes. They're more likely to graduate high school and college. They can read and they could do math. And yet the local public school spends triple what the local Catholic school does, and they can't do any of that stuff. Why?
Yeah. Why? Because they lack the moral fundamental foundation that encourages them to be decent people in the first place. I mean, that's going to be my argument to that.
Because a government-run program of education has been a failure in this country, and that's what President Trump is doing by abolishing the Department of Education.
Okay, so how, if there's no public...
Okay, so to that end, the Department of Education is a federal department. So far, what we've been talking about is specific districts and the cost of schooling within specific districts. And so the Department of Education extends far beyond that. It extends to all school districts across the entire country. And what they do is ultimately they try to tell teachers what they can and cannot teach. And they try to tell teachers how they can and cannot teach. And these are extremely bad things for the federal government to do. This is tantamount to controlling speech, in my opinion, because these kids do not necessarily know what they're being told. They are expected and often do absolutely adhere to whatever the teacher says. And so whatever the teacher says ought to be 100% factual and 0% propaganda and 0% opinion and 0%, somehow influence over what that student thinks or should think or should believe. And yet the opposite is true. Okay, the federal Department of Education has actually imposed upon smaller boards of education and said, you will institute this curriculum or you will not receive federal funding, right? Like, that has been the regular for a very long time. Since I've been out of high school in 2004, it has gotten worse and worse and worse and worse. And my nephews have been subject to this, so I am privy to this. So it's good to see you, Ryan Lopez. How you doing? All right, we'll continue.
I'm not saying that the public education system is perfect. I'm saying that having... I think the privatization of public things in general is bad. And obviously that's a very...
Why would you say that? So, I mean...
Why would you say that? That's such an honest fucking question. The privatization of things is generally bad. Help me out, Chad. Why would you say that? Why would anyone say that? Why is the privatization of things bad? I don't think it is. I really don't. I don't think it is. I think it generally makes things better. Honestly, anytime the federal government gets involved, it fucks it up. It just screws it right up. And none of that is good. None of it is ever good. The DMV sucks. You ever been to the DMV? You ever get a license? That shit sucks. It sucks. You ever pay taxes? That shit sucks. There's so much bureaucracy involved. There's so much red tape involved. There's so many hoops to jump through and so much bullshit to think about. Taxes suck. Driver's licenses suck. Vehicle registration sucks. Anything at all to do with the government sucks. Why is that? Could it be Could it be that if ever the government gets involved, it just makes it worse? Is that possible? Is it possible that maybe the government being involved is the fucking problem? I don't know. Call me crazy.
I mean, that's just, we can go through the list of that, but
Because it's not, because getting rid of, for example, DEI, or getting rid of, and again, I'm not super pro DEI.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in California. I'll put it that way.
I'll try
Oh my goodness. Oh my fucking goodness. I grew up in California. Call me fucking surprised. Are you kidding? Really? My goodness. I would have never fucking guessed. I thought you grew up in the backwoods of fucking Kansas. Fuck me. I was wrong. Chat. I thought this guy was from fucking Kansas. I thought he was a based ass fucking conservative who understood that anytime the fucking government gets involved in anything, it fucks it up.
For example, DEI, or getting rid of, and again, I'm not super pro DEI.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in California. I'll put it that way.
I'll try to apply it to your, like where.
Okay, I grew up in one of the most expensive towns in California.
Okay, Montecito? I don't know, I'm guessing.
Yeah, no, something like that. I don't want to talk because I'm a political commentator. I'm not saying my name.
Monterey. It doesn't matter. That's fine. Whatever fucking town you grew up in California fucking explains it.
But I will tell you,
fine, but
that seeing that we had three 82-inch TVs in my school for a public school when other kids in Compton had absolutely nothing, and I know a big part of that is.
Okay, great. So you had 82-inch fucking TV displays in Monterey, fucking California, and in Compton they didn't have that, and somehow that's the fault of the federal fucking government. That has nothing to do with California or the California Board of Education. Excuse? That's not the California Board of Education's fault. Let's try to figure that out. Let's, you all talk about disseminating taxes across communities, right? So California is a community, right? And the California Board of Education is an administrating, figurehead of the state over the community of California, and yet they allow 82-inch plasma LCD fucking screens in Monterey, but in Compton, y'all bitches get fucking CRTs that are 4x3. Yeah. And yet that's the federal government's fault. That's what it is. It's not California. California's no fault. No. California's no fault. No, of course not. There's nothing wrong with California. California's great, man. California's just like, we go out to like the beach and just like surf, and there's wildfires like all the time, but and we don't have any water to like put them out or anything, but California's like chill, man. Like, you just be like homeless, and then they like pay you like $750, $800 a month, $900 a month. Like, well, it's whatever. Ah, come on. California is not our fault. No, it's the federal government. It's the feds. The fucking people in Kentucky, people in Pennsylvania, people in New York, people in Maine need to pay for poor kids in Compton to have, 85-inch plasma LCD screens in order to see their stupid fucking PowerPoints, in order to take notes and do their schoolwork. That's what really needs to happen. Yeah. Okay.
Is that? It's property taxes, right? And so, yes. However, let's just get down to the core of it.
I'm sorry. I am very hostile, and I want you guys to realize how meager and mild Charlie Kirk is being right now. And I want you to take that to heart, because that's what we need right now. And I am so sorry to all of the people who are hurting and want blood. But that is the last thing that we need. It really is. Okay? So I want you to take to heart how mild and meager Charlie is in this exchange, and how fucking infuriated I am just thinking about what this piece of shit with the green hat is saying. Okay, so like I am livid, and I would not be able to have a reasonable conversation with this person if I saw him in person. But I want you to take to heart what's about to happen right here. Okay?
Which is that in San Diego, are the private schools or the public schools more desirable?
It's kind of complicated because we have charter schools that are public. Like we have like High Tech High. We have
people pay money to go to private school, right? For a reason. So what is our perspective? The money should follow the child. You should have school choice. You should be able to go to whatever the school of your choosing, and it works super well.
But the good private schools that you're talking, you talk about these ones in Chicago with cherry pick data. When we're talking about San Diego.
Fuck you. Shut. Okay, I'm sorry.
They cost about $40,000 a year.
It's not cherry pick data.
It is cherry pick data talking about a single example of a Catholic school that's publicly funded or funded by donors.
There's hundreds of these examples.
Okay,
right?
hundreds of these examples, but the reality is that the majority of them you have to pay an exorbitant amount of money in order to get into them.
Right. So then what per pupil in San Diego?
Charlie's response is to say, what can we reduce this down to where it makes sense to you? How can I make this make sense to you? I want this to make sense to you. I really do. I want to break this down in a way that makes fucking sense.
Right. So then what per pupil in San Diego? What do you think they charge per student in the public school? Anywhere between $25,000 to $35,000.
I have no idea, and I don't think that it has anything to do with the debate we're having.
No, it has everything to do with it. And I'll just close with this. So there's 21 million people that work for the government in this country, 11 million in education. 11 million in education. How many of the 11 million do you think are teachers?
I see, you're just coming up. Look,
no, it's super.
Can you repeat your question? Because I thought we were going to continue, because we barely talked about anything I want to talk about.
Well, no, I mean, we did freewheeling. That's what this is, right? So there's 11 million people that work in education in America. How many would you guess are teachers?
I'm assuming that it's very bloated, and I'm just going to guess that 2 million are teachers.
Yeah, it's about 2 to 3. It's like 3.5 to 4 million. So that means that 7 million people that work in education are unnecessary administrators and paper pushers. And why is that important? Because we've not been funding teachers or education the last 30 years. We've been funding unnecessarily bureaucracy in our education the last 30 or 40 years. And President Trump goes to abolish it. Thank you for your time. I got to get to the next question. Thank you.
I'm sorry. Here. Here. That's right. That's why right there. It's useless fucking bureaucracy. I don't know how to spell bureaucracy. If somebody can spell bureaucracy, please type it in the chat so that I can know how to spell it. Okay.
Hello.
Hi. My name's Ellie. Overall, just to go into my question, I am conservative. So going into this, I was like,
That's not how you spell it. That's not how you spell it, Bill. That's the wrong. That's the wrong way. What's up, Mr. Bill? It's good to see you.
go like what should I ask you about? I think overall, I was going through different policies, and in general, I agree. Ultimately, I think the topic of my question is how to approach politics in school and in general with this function. I've found that a lot of times when I talk to people who are on the other side of me, they are surprised to find out what I think, and my ideas are not that crazy. It's like when you actually get into the meat of it, it's like, oh, actually, maybe it does make sense.
Okay. So she's opening with an argument that says, hey, I'm not fucking crazy. Okay, so she's obviously crazy, right? Let's see what happens.
And so I think it's really valuable to start giving these ideas to the world. And so this is one of these options, but I guess my question is this the best way? Because when I hear, like, for example, on Reddit, they're like, don't approach him, don't do this, he's just doing that, he's doing this, he's doing that, he's using all these tactics. And so I wonder if you've considered, not to say that this is a bad way.
Okay, so Then she goes into saying that Charlie Kirk is capable of instituting these tactics, quote unquote. So first she says, I'm not crazy. Second, she says, you are crazy. So I'm going to present my argument now. Okay, that's where we're at.
These tactics, and so I wonder if you've considered, not to say that this is a bad way to go about it, but if there's maybe a slightly better way, because I think what you're saying has a lot of value in this world, but it's like in this school specifically, it is thought of as evil and as...
What's evil? Saying that abolishing the Federal Department of Education is evil? Why? Because your athletics teams would receive, 30% less money? What do you want? What? Come on.
Like, not like a valid way to think.
That's a UC San Diego problem, not a Charlie Kirk problem, right?
No, and it's not, and it's not the same problem. No.
And meaning, like, and I read there was some op-ed journalists where they said, ignore Charlie, ignore him. Well, what they're saying is that they are not either smart enough or they're not intellectually mature enough to have a discussion with a conservative on any issue. I have literally almost no notes. I have like a couple charts to show you if the topics come up. You guys can use AI, you guys can use Grok, you could do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You could bring a professor, you could bring 5 of your top libs together, debate me, right?
Yeah.
Other side? Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you. And you guys can debate me at any time. I fail to understand why, well, actually I know the reason. Speech is not a left-wing value. And they do not believe in freedom of speech. They believe in totalitarian control. There are...
Absolutely. Oh, my goodness. Just let that sink in. Once more. Come on.
Why... Well, actually, I know the reason. Speech is not a left-wing value. And they do not believe in freedom of speech. They believe in totalitarian control. There are exceptions to that. So if they have a problem, I think this is one of the best ways, not the best way. I literally could not be more open to disagreement. I say if you disagree, you go to the front of the line.
Yeah.
And I mean, how often do you as conservatives get a chance to challenge liberals on campus, right? And being welcomed, ever?
Oh, absolutely, almost never. Definitely
because
not in
speech is not a
class.
left-wing value.
No, but to say that, I mean, with all of that being said, that is very true. But ultimately, what happens here is I see a lot of, like, the ideas just being like bubbled against, and so like when I talk to my friends, their ideas aren't changed from these conversations, and so I wonder if there's just like a...
You would be surprised. Sorry to interrupt. What happens here gets seen hundreds of millions of times on social media.
Absolutely, yes.
The crowds are growing, and so look, some people are going to remain closed-minded. They're not going to, have their horizons open, but
Rest in
that's
peace,
on
Charlie.
them, right? They have to actually want to pursue the truth and not just have their own worldview confirmed.
And then I guess that's where I disagree, because I think fundamentally there is truth within anything, and I believe that maybe I would ask you like to see that like you have a big role in this. You have a big fan base and a big media base that you are making incredible change, and to take it just one step further would be really trying to push the narrative against this being like a place where people are just like debating. It's more than that.
What would you like to see?
I guess maybe it's more of a question. I guess, I don't know,
What are you willing to do is the question. What are you willing to do to kowtow to the left? That's what she's asking. Because I've kowtowed to the left. And why can't you do it? And Charlie says, no. N-O, period. I will not. I will express my beliefs. I will express the truth. And you will listen, or, and we can disagree, and you will walk away. You will walk away.
moving forward, like trying to maybe to see that like instead of using these really fast tactics and to really like try to bring it down, not to say someone is not to say that they're no.
I disagree with all that. That's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, you're thinking way too much about libs on Reddit. I care about normal people, so.
No,
yeah.
But
I mean, you did bring up Reddit. I'm sorry. You're like.
No, I guess that's true. No, and I guess
so
maybe
these people are not well socially adjusted, right? I talk to the 90% of the American people. that actually want to make something of their life and, you know, have kids and...
No, and I couldn't agree more with that like stance. I guess maybe stepping away from Reddit, it's to me the people on this campus. This is a school I go to, and almost everyone I'm surrounded with has a completely different view from me. And
Yeah. Yeah, that happens. You need to remain stalwart. You need to remain true to your principles in that situation. You have to still be who you are despite who the people around you are. It doesn't need to be adversarial. Okay? It's like, okay, well, I guess we're different. That's it. Can we still go to the bar and have a beer? Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Let's do it. We don't have to try to kill one another. All that needs to happen is that we express our ideals amongst one another. And, you know, maybe we have a disagreement and maybe we can work that out. Maybe we can come to a common understanding. Let's try to get there. That's really what it's about. It's not about you kowtowing. It's not about Charlie kowtowing. It's really about just coming to an understanding that, yeah, you know, maybe we stand on different ground. Maybe we're on different islands. That's okay. Maybe you want a different thing for society than I do. That's okay. But let's talk about it. Let's try to weed out the differences and try to weed out what's best for society in the process. Instead of just saying, "Oh no, I am so outnumbered. I must be among you, and I must be communist now. Oh no, let me kowtow. No. I gotta get lower. I gotta get super low right now. Oh no, I can't say anything. I can't be who I am because there's so many people around me that are like just like totally different than me, so I can't do that." Fuck that shit. Okay? In the words of Korn, fuck that shit. You are who you are. Be who you are, regardless. And if people want to be around you, then let them be around you. That's it.
Well, not everybody.
No, and this is like, but this like the people here to find them. It feels like you're like sifting through a needle in a haystack.
You want a hat?
Sifting through a needle in a haystack. There's at least 2,000 people surrounding the tent right now. That's fucking nuts to me.
Sure.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question. Disagreements, come to the front of the line. Yes.
Okay, hold on a minute. I'll address this first before this goes off. This is a well-known clip. And again, this is at University of California, San Diego. Okay, UC San Diego. Okay, great. So Ryan Lopez, he says, "I've been clear. Your D&D game sucked." Okay, Ryan. Why? Was it me? Did it suck because of me? Because if it was because of me, I'd like to address that and I'd like to change it. But if it's not because of me and it's because of someone or several people in the party, then I'll tell you to go fuck yourself. Because what D&D is about the party. It's about a collaborative writing experience, and it's about whether or not the people who are participating are having fun. That's really what it's about. So we had fun. I had fun. To me, that's a success. So you can say it sucked, but if you continue to spout fucking hatred, then I'm just gonna get rid of you. Okay, great. So all right, let's continue with this.
So I have a couple points that I want to talk about in illegal immigration. Is it okay if I say all of them with no interruption? Okay, cool. So First, illegal immigrants power our economy. They're 50% of U.S. farm workers, harvesting the food on our tables, and fill 70% of construction jobs in states like Texas. They pay $13 billion annually in taxes, including $2 billion to Social Security that they can't claim. Deporting them would slash agricultural output by $60 billion and raise food prices by 6%. Why gut our farms and wallets when these workers fuel our prosperity? That's my first point. Second point, they strengthen our communities with lower crime rates. So in Texas, undocumented immigrants have a 26 lower percent homicide conviction rates. So, which is 2.2 per 100,000 versus 3 for native-born citizens. Nationally, immigrants are incarcerated at half the rate of native-born, where it's 0.85% versus 1.71%. That's according to Bureau of Justice Statistics from 2019. So if safety is your goal, why deport people who make our streets safer? This is my third point. Mass deportation tears apart American families. Over 4.4 million U.S. citizens, children have an undocumented parent. And in Texas, 1 in 7 kids lives in a mixed status household. Okay, this is my fourth point. Deportation is a fiscal nightmare. Removing 11 million people would cost $315 to $400 billion. More than the entire Homeland Security budget and shrink our GDP by 1.7 trillion over 10 years. And this is my last point. Our immigration system is broken, pushing people to cross illegally. Visa waits Mexicans can exceed 20 years and the asylum blockage is 1.3 million cases, with hearings 4 to 6 years out. Okay.
You done?
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
All right.
So to be clear, this guy just like typed in a conclusion into Grok and spat out all of the analyses that Grok gave in order to justify that conclusion. That's literally what just happened. This is why Spiro is telling you that AI is going to be the downfall of fucking humanity right here. It's people like this. He's not even willing to make eye contact with Charlie. Yeah, Charlie doesn't even have a phone or any kind of electronic device. He has some papers in front of him. That's about it. All right.
All right, so without looking at the phone, look at me. What
Sure.
should the penalty be for breaking into America?
I think there should be a system where it's more merit-based. So if this person
No, penalty. So what is the penalty? So what should happen
it's a
to you?
felony. It's not a felony. It's a
No,
misdemeanor.
it is. That's not true. It's 8 U.S.C.
it's a
1312. You can
misdemeanor.
look it up right now.
It's a felony if it's done twice. If you try to
it's
cross
not
the border,
correct.
that is correct.
That is not correct.
I googled it, dude.
To illegally go across the southern border with the well intent to come into harbor yourself into the interior of the United States, the violation of 8 U.S.C. 1312,
Okay.
which is a felony in the federal criminal code. Now, it can be enforced as a misdemeanor, or it can be upwards to 5 years in prison. Now, I want to know, since it's a felony, law in the books, 8 U.S.C. 1312, what should the penalty be?
Well, in my opinion, these kinds of like laws are usually they're what do you call it? They're sorry. Usually.
Oops. I don't know, man. Like the fucking AI didn't tell me what to say right here. Oops.
The like the sorry.
It's such an easy fucking question. What do you guys think the penalty should be for entering the country illegally? Right? Like, should it be deportation? Should it be jail time? What do you think? I think it should be deportation. I mean, personally.
Wait, sorry. Can I check my phone real quick? I apologize. Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
What should the penalty be for someone that breaks or comes into America illegally? What should the penalty be?
I think there should be a merit system where the people. Okay, the penalty. All right, let's.
That's
the penalty.
not the answer. It's a very simple moral and legal question.
Okay,
what
sure.
should the penalty be if you come into America illegally?
Okay, so since it's a misdemeanor, not a felony, misdemeanors
I
are.
just told you it's not. You can look up on your chat.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's a misdemeanor or a felony, does it? Is it a crime? Is it a misdemeanor or a felony if I walk up to a Nazi and punch him in the face? Right? Is it a misdemeanor or a felony if I walk up to a communist and punch him in the face? Let me ask you that. What the fuck difference does it make? It's a crime either way. Why is that important? It's not.
GPT, what is 8 USC? Look up, what is 8 USC 1312?
No, I know. I've already looked it up.
Yes,
when it's your second time crossing the border illegally, then it becomes a felony.
When it's your second time, only on the second time, you guys, only on the second time. You know, the first time it's like, oh, okay, you're just trying to come get some bread. That's cool. We'll give you some bread. You go home. That's great. But the second time, that's when it becomes a felony. That's when it's an issue. What? What? When? Who decided that? It's fucking stupid. It makes zero sense to me. No. Especially with the crisis we're facing right now. And again, this was 6 months ago, less than 6 months ago. I'm pretty sure. So, okay.
It can be, and it is, enforced as a felony, and it usually is done as a misdemeanor citation because no one has the stones to do 20 million felony applications.
Okay.
Tom Homan does. I'm pretty sure. We'll see. But I'm pretty sure Tom Homan has those fucking stones, brother. I really do. I think so.
So I just want to ask,
Yeah.
what should the penalty be then for someone that comes into this country illegally?
Usually there's three ways that go about this when there's a penalty. There's either like a fine, or there's some kind of like public service that this person does, or you send them back. But
send them back. I agree. That's what we should do.
Okay.
Just conceded the debate right there. That's what he was worried about. He's like, oh, no, I have to concede this debate. No, can I check my phone real quick? Oh, no. I guess I'll just fucking concede the debate anyway. Yep, you just did.
So this is interesting. So one of the statistics that I read said that illegal immigrants don't cause as much like they don't break the law as often as people who are native.
Oh, no, of course they don't. Of course they don't. No, there's no such thing as MS-13. There's no such thing as Mexican cartels that are beheading people in the fucking streets. That doesn't happen. What are you talking about? That's right-wing propaganda. Oh, no, that never happened. There's nothing like that ever happening. No, of course not.
But every single one of them are criminals. They're all criminals.
Okay, sure, by law.
Well, hold
by
on.
law.
No.
No, by law, of course they are.
So if they commit less crime and they're all criminals, wait a second. By definition, they all have broken the law by being here, and they break the law every day by staying here because you're actually not allowed to stay here either. Do you know that? So every day you're here, you're actually continually breaking the law. You can't break in or harbor. That's what the federal law says. So by breaking in, it's not just the only law they broke. Every second you remain here, you're also breaking the law. So that statistic is invalidated by just them breathing here, they're breaking the law.
No, of course not. Of course not. So of course it makes sense for them when they're here, they're breaking the law because they're illegal immigrants, obviously. But once they're of course. So once they're here, once they are here, what kind of harm are they actually doing? When you look at the numbers statistically,
A lot.
Yeah. Have you seen the crime statistics from Aurora? You seen the crime stats from fucking, Chicago, from fucking San Diego, from New York? Yeah, there's a lot.
No, that's not true. Okay,
Black wages have gone down.
Okay, in Texas,
DUIs have gone up dramatically.
Try not to interrupt, bro.
Well,
Okay,
hold on. I'm interjecting, and I let you go uninterrupted with your whole soliloquy,
true,
right?
yeah, thank you.
So let me ask you a question now.
Okay.
So, if it is correct
Yeah.
that illegal aliens commit less crimes, which of course it's not correct.
That is correct. Look it up. In
but
Texas, they made a study in 2019. 26% are
is
lower.
any crime? It's just not correct. But I'm
That
not going
is
to debate that.
correct.
It's I just proved it at its face because they commit a crime by being here every day. That is a crime.
Okay, once they are here, what kind of crimes are they committing? Which is
Okay, well
they're 26%.
Okay. Do you know the name
less.
Laken Riley?
No, education. No.
Do you know? Wow. Do you know the name Rachel Morin?
No, I don't.
Wow.
which
Let
is-
him say it
okay,
again.
well,
Let him say it again.
26%.
Do you know the
26%
name
less.
Laken Riley?
No, educate me.
No,
don't.
educate
No,
me.
no, no.
Do you know? Wow.
No, educate me, he says. And look at him. Now he lifts his brow enough so that you can see his eyes. See? The confidence. Suddenly I have an in. Because I don't think you know what it is that you're talking about. Okay.
Wow. Do you know the name Rachel Morin?
No, I don't.
Wow.
Wait, educate
Okay.
me. What
So
kind of...
Laken Riley was a girl at the University of Georgia.
Okay.
There was a peeping Tommy, a legal alien, that was deported 5 times prior, and Biden kept on letting him back in. He hunted her down, raped her, sodomized her, and murdered her on a hiking trail, University of Georgia.
Okay, so
Rachel,
one person doesn't represent
hold
all
on a
illegal
second.
immigrants.
Every person who is killed by an illegal alien is one that should not happen. Every single one.
Of course, and also the ones that are
and
native born.
everyone.
As
And so
well as
that's
the
the
ones who are
point.
native born.
Is that it's not a
As
matter
well
of
as
the
the
rate.
Here, fucking
The
here.
rate, even if I accept your premise, which is incorrect, the rate is irrelevant. The number is what's relevant. There should be 0 illegal aliens. There should be 0 Americans being killed by illegals.
So, okay.
Not to mention there's 6 other problems with the illegal aliens. They steal Social Security numbers. They depress wages. They are heavily involved. By the way, not to mention, a lot of people that cross on the southern border are also smuggling girls, weapons, and drugs alongside the southern border when they come. It's the largest slavery operation in American history that many illegal aliens help make possible on the southern border. And I guess the final question I'll have is, should a government serve its citizens first and foremost?
Yeah, of course. Well, okay, there's been many people who are like very political leaders who have said that this place is built off of immigrants.
Oh, is it? Wait, hold on. Let's think about that.
Sure.
First of all, it's legal, not illegal. But was America founded by immigrants or settlers?
Settlers.
That's not an immigrant.
Yeah. Okay.
An
Well, that's not
immigrant
my
is-
point. My point is
You
that
just
people
brought
who-
up the nation built by immigrants.
You just said.
Actually
people,
not.
because the political leaders have said that this place is built.
Yeah, and they're
from
wrong.
They're
Political
wrong?
leaders have said. Political leaders have said, and yet you have proved them wrong.
Leaders are wrong.
The whole dichotomy of this is just hypocrisy on display, man. Like 100 fucking %.
George W. Bush is wrong. All these political leaders
Yes.
who have built
Yes.
America.
By the way,
wrong.
the first person to say that was
How is
Ted-
that wrong? When
Hold
illegal
on, 'cause
immigrants make,
I just
they grow the economy.
okay,
Statistically,
allow me
studies.
allow me to build it out for you.
Sure.
Immigrants have helped at times in American history, but we are first and foremost a nation founded by settlers. Immigrants come to a country already built. Settlers come to a barren place and build something new.
Right.
This land was barren when people came. In the 18
Wasn't entirely barren, but we brought agriculture as well as disease. So it's a give and a take, no matter what you do. All right, there's that.
1840s gold rush, this was not an easy place to live.
Yeah.
California was not exactly industrialized. There was not immigrants coming west to California. Those were settlers building a new place around, Western values. Finally, I would just ask the question, do you see a moral distinction between a legal immigrant and an illegal immigrant?
Well, the argument is that they're cutting in line. Like, their argument is that they're cutting in line in the 20-year process that it would take for someone.
Okay, so this guy just completely ignores what Charlie is saying and says the argument is whatever I say it is. That's a plain straw man.
Do you see a moral distinction between a legal immigrant and an illegal immigrant?
I want you to remember this the next time you encounter Steel Man on whatever panel or whatever. Yeah? So, there you go.
Well, the argument is that they're cutting in line. Like, their argument is that they're cutting in line in the 20-year process that it would take for someone to cross here legally.
It's not 20, but yeah.
At most, it's 20. At most, it's 20. Right now, there's around like 1.2 million people who are currently waiting that would take 6 to 7 years for a hearing.
And by the way, no one has a right to come to this country,
Of
just
course,
to be
wait,
clear.
let me stay on track of what I was gonna say. Okay, so people who come here.
Let me stay on track with my digression. Yeah. Let me stay on track with my shifting of the goalpost. Let me stay on track with my straw manning of your argument. And Charlie is starting to look at this like, yeah, you're full of shit.
Here, usually almost all the time when they come here, they benefit society. They benefit society. There's studies that have done this.
Not necessarily.
Okay, not necessarily, but overall in general.
But no,
when you look, overall
I
in general,
fundamentally disagree with that.
You can't
I mean,
disagree with a fact.
Hold on. Do you think Ilhan Omar has enriched the United States of America?
I don't know who.
Do you
that
think
is.
Rashida Tlaib?
Uh-huh.
Hold on. Go back. Do you think Ilhan Omar has enriched the United States of America? What does he say?
I don't know who.
Do you
that
think
is.
Rashida?
I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. That's what he says. This is the common claim. Anybody who is worthy of criticism, I don't know who that is. Anybody who does anything who's worthy of criticism, I'm not familiar with that event. I'm not sure. I don't know. I never heard about that. Nah. That way I don't have to deal with it. I don't have to try to defend that. I don't have to try to dig into those weeds and try to sort that out. It doesn't matter. They're on my side. I don't care. That's it. I don't care. That's what he's saying, is I don't care. If there's wrongdoing on my side, I don't care. That's the fucking reality of the situation. And that's exactly what's wrong with rhetoric in this fucking country. You can't pin them down because they'll say, nah, I don't know. And the only reason they say that is not because they don't know. It's because they don't care. That's it.
Tlaib.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I could go through person by person by person.
Sorry, I don't know these people. Are these people who have are illegal immigrants that have caused harm?
Yeah, if you don't know, I don't mean to pick on you. It's fine.
Okay.
But I guess the final question.
And as magnanimous as he is, Charlie won't fucking drill a point home. I would nail him to the cross on that. How the fuck do you not know who Ilhan Omar is? You are full of shit. Fuck you. You don't know who Ilhan Omar is. Are you fucking kidding me? She's in the news every other fucking week. She makes it her business to be headline fucking news because of the retarded shit that comes out of her fucking mouth. You tell me you don't know who that is? Then you're not paying attention. That's ultimately the conclusion. Either you're not paying attention or you're lying. You're lying to me in order to avoid trying to cover for these people. One of the two.
Caused harm?
Yeah, if you don't know, I don't mean to pick on you. It's fine.
Okay.
But I guess the final question is,
sure.
Do you have any concern that there are too many people coming into this country and we're a nation of strangers, not a nation of neighbors?
If the people who are coming are creating America, making it more growing, like the economy is growing, then what harm?
If they're making the economy grow, then what harm are they doing?
Harm is that doing? Especially if the people who
we're
are
more
coming
than
are
an
not.
economy, though, aren't we? We're a culture. We're a language.
Yeah,
we're
of course.
People.
Okay, so let's talk about that front. When they come here, they don't have any kind of. They're not committing as more crimes than the people who are already
Bullshit.
here.
Again,
That is a statistic
we've already
done.
dispelled.
We dispelled that by saying that they're illegal coming here in the first place. That's true.
That, but
That
do
is not. You can't
in
dispel a
California,
statistic.
Let's
What are
take
you
California.
talking about?
You can't. Do you think there's anything wrong that a majority of young people in California speak Spanish, not English?
Let's reiterate that once more.
That is a statistic
We've already
done.
dispelled that. But
That
do
is not. You can't
in
dispel a
California,
statistic.
Let's
What are you
take
talking
California.
about? You can't.
Do you think there's anything wrong that a majority of young people in California speak Spanish, not English?
Do you think that there's something wrong with the majority of people in California in schools speaking Spanish, not English? Is there anything wrong with that? Yeah. It's a pretty basic question. I'll say yeah. I'd say yeah. There's a problem with that. Because cohabitating with society that is based upon not only the English common law, but also the English language, requires you to sort of speak the language, right? I mean, otherwise you're not trying to assimilate. You're trying to inseminate. right? Like those are two very different things. Assimilate means I will become part of this culture which is different from me, and I will adjust in order to make way for their laws, their customs, and their culture, and I will adhere to that. That's assimilation, and that's admirable. It really is, and I admire any immigrant who's willing to make that journey. I really do, and I welcome it. But then the other is, I'm not willing to assimilate. I am willing to inseminate. I am willing to inject my culture into yours and to make you like me instead. Those are two very different fucking attitudes and two very different ideals. And how do we police that? How do we control that? I am not entirely sure, but I'm pretty positive that that has something to do with all the hairiness surrounding immigration in the first place. And so when lefties come to you and they say, oh, we just want common sense immigration reform. We just want to make it easier for people to come in here. What is it that they mean? Do they want to make it easier for people to assimilate or to insimilate? Right? Those are two very different things. Okay.
Wait, sorry, can you see the
Do you think there's anything wrong or troubling to the fact that a majority of people under the age of 30 here in the States speak Spanish, not English? Is there a problem with that?
Well, yeah, everyone should be able to have a ability to communicate with the rest of the crowd. So I don't know what the big issue of that
See, I think it's a huge problem when we have a nation where you can't communicate
sure,
with your fellow neighbor.
Simple solution, teach them how to speak English. What is your point?
Yeah, and our schools don't do
Great. You know what part of the immigration process is? It's learning to speak English. That's part of what they want to eliminate from the immigration process. It's the ability to know English.
Sure. Okay. Simple solution. Teach them how to speak English. What is your point?
And our schools don't do that actually. And also, have a better solution.
Yeah.
Don't import a bunch of people that don't speak English.
You mean importing people who actually grow the economy?
Well,
who
again,
don't
reject. I reject your premise.
That's not a premise. That's a study that's been done.
Do you know what a premise is? I don't actually care as much.
My study, bro. But my study. Where's your study, bro? I gotta study. My study says I'm right. So like, where's your study? Like, right? So like, I'm right. So right. So trust the experts, bro. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck, bro?
Much about economic growth because we're one nation under. We're one nation under GDP. We're not one nation under GDP. We're a nation under God. Yeah. And when we lose social cohesion, and you import a bunch of people that don't share our values, that don't necessarily always assimilate, that's a major and serious problem. And we are a people first and foremost with a creed, and that creed is falling apart. Mass migration has not helped that creed. Yes, they might buy more trinkets. They might help depress wages. Mass migration, of course, can help.
All good things, all great things for America that needs.
Well, they help major corporations, but you know what they also do? They keep down the wages of working people. If you are a plumber, yes, of course. If you think about it, if you're a plumber, electrician, or a welder, and you have to compete against someone from Nicaragua who's willing to do it for $5 less an hour, that depresses the wages of the American citizen.
Right. Yeah, so there's been studies that have done that also like counteract that. Illegal immigrants.
Well, let's use our reason.
Let's use our reason. Our studies.
Let's use our reason.
How about statistics?
How about our reason? So we've had mass migration for 20 years.
Trust the experts. Trust the experts. Trust the experts. What does Charlie say? He says, let's use our reason. Can we reason about it? Can we think about it like normal human beings and just work the problem just a little bit? Is that possible?
No, let's look at our studies.
Let's use our reason.
How about statistics?
How about our reason? So we've had mass migration for 20 years. Have wages gone up?
I don't know.
No, they haven't actually. Okay. So forget your studies. For 10 years we've had 30 million people come into America. Wages have gone down dramatically. Yeah. Maybe there's a reason why.
Okay.
So what I encourage you to do, just because there's a study that confirms, you should use your reason and look actually at self-evident truths. Be like, does that make sense? Can you name
statistics are self-evident?
Well, not always. Statistics are very misleading. Yes, like for example.
Wow. Okay, there it is. There it is, plain and simple for you, right there. Once more. Let's hear it once more.
Actually self-evident truths? Be like, huh, does that make sense? Can you name
Statistics are self-evident.
Well, not always.
Statistics are self-evident truths. That's a belief. That's a belief, people. Right there. This man is participating in a religion which is beyond and outside of God. And the religion that he's participating in is that of trust the fucking experts. And it's garbage. It's complete garbage. There's nothing about the experts that means that you should trust them. If anything, what the experts tell us is that we should not trust them. Is that we should peer review them. Is that we should look at their work with extreme scrutiny and say, how is this right? Is this really right? How is this right? And what makes it right? And whereby did you come to the methodology to determine that this is right? That's science. What these people are saying is just say, oh no, some asshole on TV told me so. So it must be true. It must be. Because he's wearing a lab coat, right? He's got a pocket protector with like 19 pins in it. I don't need that many pins. That guy needs that many pins because he's so smart. That's what it is. Trust the fucking experts. Trust the experts. And I'm going to tell you all something. You got to trust the experts on me tonight because I'm not an expert. But you know who is? You know who is? Is Rob Noor. That's right. So I'm going to send you all over to Rob Noor. I love you guys so much. Thank you for coming out and thank you for chilling. And I really appreciate you a lot for being here. So I want you to head out immediately to Normal America with Rob Noor. I'm going to post the link in the chat a million times right now. But before I do, I will say I love you and I will see you on the next D&D day. I'm pretty sure. Or perhaps sometime in between now and then. I hope. I really do hope. So, in the meantime, y'all go out, you check out Rob Noor, and I'll see you on the next one. Mini cheers, y'all. Much love, much retribution, and there's one principle I don't want you ever to forget. Okay? Discourse created this country, discourse perpetuates this country, and discourse maintains it. Without discourse, we no longer have a country. So, be open to flagrantly wrong ideals. What you need to do is just explain how it's wrong and why, and try to get these people to move forward. That's it. That's what I want you to do. I love you so much. Go check out Rob Noor, and I'll see y'all over there. Many cheers.